movie was about.
Lights, camera, action is going down. For my ATL movies, when we run this town with your host T-Wil, yeah, keeping it real. From the A to the screen, you can feel the thrill. Rolling with the classics, we're setting the pace. Highlighting the magic of our soulful space. Got the vibe, got the crew, making it tight. When the screen lights up, everything feels right. Grab your popcorn, let's make it loud. T-Wil, T-Wil, it's movie time, ATL style. Stand proud. From the silver screen to the hearts we steal. T-Wil, T-Wil, every frame we capture is a real deal. Yeah. Talking premieres where the stars align. ATL views, yeah, they really shine. Behind the lens, capture.
Welcome back, everybody. Hello. Welcome. I'm your host, T-Wil, host of 4myatlmovies Sports 1 and 4myatlmovies. And my guy over here, Mr. Michael Myers. I'm sorry, Jordan Burton. What? Jordan? Is that you? Or did Michael come in your domicile? What?
What you can't tell is I was smiling the whole time. The mask is freaky.
Yeah, man, it's a great mask. Yeah, you got me there, buddy. You got me there. So, hey, man, tonight we're gonna talk about Elektra,
Another scary bad movie.
The Daredevil 2003. You know what I mean? Which I'm gonna be honest with you, man. The first time I saw it, I probably wasn't a big fan, but I don't know what it is about us doing these movies, man. But I really enjoyed. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I really enjoyed watching this film a second time because so much more jumped out at me. About this film, man. It was, again, I'm not saying it was great and that I loved it, but I understood more what was going on in this film as far as the theme. So let's set it up. Obviously, we did Daredevil last week. Elektra was the love interest of Daredevil, an assassin. Elektra Nachos, the father of Mr. Nachos. I can't think of his first name. But anyway, he's basically a guy in the underworld. He's one of Kingpin's associates. Kingpin kills Mr. Nachos. Elektra thinks Daredevil does it. She spends most of the movie trying to figure out how she can kill him. She ends up finding out that Daredevil is Matt and he's her love interest, and they work it out just before she's killed. And this movie takes place after she has been resurrected and is now an assassin for hire and killing people. And here we are. So, Jordan, let's talk about the first scene of this movie where, again, it's kind of a monologue with this villain that she's coming to kill, who's talking to one of his henchmen that he hired to protect him. And he's like, I shouldn't have hired you because there's nothing you can do because this is Elektra. And the henchman says, she's dead. She's a myth. And he's like, no. She wanted me right here for this exact moment so she could kill me. And blah, 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 the monologue. And of course, Elektra comes in, kills all of his henchmen. But what I thought was really interesting was the conversation that she has with him before she kills him, right? And so she's talking to him, and he's talking to her, and he's getting ready to pull out the whole gun and shoot it on his side and do the villain thing. And one thing that they did a great job of in this film is Elektra being able to, I don't want to say teleport, but move so quickly that you don't see her. And so she moves up to the point and whispers in his ear something, right? And then he whispers something back. And then she goes back to her original position, throws the sigh as he's about to fire the bullet and kills him. There were definitely negatives with this movie, but one of the positives that I think they did was the scenery, the imagery, and how they were able to put her powers on display. And one of them is the fact that moves so quickly you can't detect her. And the other that I really appreciated was the premonitions, was the fact that she could see about 5 minutes into the future to see what was going on when she was in sort of danger. Really enjoyed that. Jordan, let's talk about this opening scene, man. Elektra, we're back. Let's talk about it, Jordan. Let's talk about the overall the opening scene. Give me your thoughts on it.
I mean, I'm one of my frustrations with this movie is that it's almost like they pretend that the events of Daredevil never existed at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like how is she resurrected? I want to see how she was
Right.
resurrected. Like
Right.
all we got was like her in an ambulance, and I'm like, this is like, I'm like, you got stabbed through the center of your chest, man. Like you're I don't you probably should have had spinal damage because of that. And I think there's what I do like about this movie is the intrigue that surrounds Elektra, because she's so mysterious,
Mhm.
and she's mysterious in Daredevil, but she's even more mysterious in this movie, and that's
Mm.
hard to do with characters. When you have a second movie with any character, it's hard to make a character even more mysterious. So, especially a main character. Um, uh, but yeah, just the opening scene, I did like that, because it added to the mystery of her. But I'm just, I'm. It feels like we were missing a an opening an opening scene in this movie that like was a like shortly after she died. Because
Yeah.
otherwise it doesn't even feel like a resurrection. It feels like, okay, she almost died. That's what
Yeah.
it feels like.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're 100%. It's very incomplete. Um,
Mhm.
and again, it does add to the mythos, but I agree. There should have been some line. There should have been some explanation that you could have written in for 5 minutes, where it kind of closes the gap between Daredevil and this movie, and we just weren't going to get it. So, this was directed by Rob Bowman, produced by Avi Arad and Arnon Milken, written by Zach Penn, Stuart Zickerman, and Raven Metzner. Released January 14th, 2025. Studio was 20th Century Fox. The runtime was 97 minutes. The budget was 43 minutes. The gross was 57 million worldwide, which typically means they lost money. Because, how much of that gross worldwide did you take back? I know that, when you talk about international theaters, you're not getting 100%, you're not getting 90, you're not getting even, a lot, sometimes you're not even getting 50%. So they probably lost money or just barely broke even on this film, which is why there's not a follow up to this Elektra movie. But like you said, Jennifer Gardner is great in this movie. Such a great actress. Such a great actress. Great performance. Really enjoyed it. Um, and there's so much going on in this movie, right? So, opening scene, there's kind of this ritual motif in that there's an assassination as kind of like this sacred ceremony. Um, but the irony of it is the calm exterior hiding all of the chaos that's going on and about to come, right? Um, they do a really good job again of managing chaos in this movie, because in a lot of the action sequence scenes there's a lot going on, but they do a really good job of focusing and giving you the vantage point of the main character. I really loved a lot of the premonitions, but we'll get to that.
Mm.
uh let's talk about Stick,
Mm.
because Stick to me was, and if we juxtapose Stick to the MCU that we got in Netflix, MCU is probably more realistic. Stick is a little darker. than he's displayed in this movie. But I really like this version of Stick. I really did, because to me, in this version of the movie, he is her conscience. In this version of this Elektra, he is her Obi-Wan. He is her center. He is her conscience. He is the voice in her head telling her right from wrong. And I really like the way they set this up. I really like this version of Stick. Not that I didn't like the version of Stick in the MCU, but the version of Stick in the MCU, he's not a nice guy at all. Completely different, just a darker vibe. Give me your thoughts on that. Give me your thoughts, and I know we're jumping ahead a little bit, but let's juxtapose this MCU, or this Stick in Elektra versus the Stick in the Netflix series and the Stick in the MCU.
So this Stick was played by Terrence Stamp, and I'm not the biggest fan of Terrence Stamp in any movies that he's in. I just don't. I feel like he plays the same type of character in all his movies.
Mhm.
And look, I don't really like the Stick in the Netflix series. I think but he's meant to not be likable, and
Mhm.
that's why I like him, because I don't like him because he's trying not to be likable, but that makes me like him. It's weird.
Huh.
Um, and and I mean, everybody I've had watch this, they're like, we don't like Stick, but they start off with I hate Stick, and then by the end of it, they're like, I actually really like Stick.
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
and this version of Stick, I can't get with. I don't really. I get what you're saying with like the Obi-Wan. He's definitely trying to be like an Obi-Wan. That's just how the character I think is written.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't really care for this character. Like, honestly, if you took Stick out of this movie, I wouldn't say like it was worse or better with him.
Okay. One thing this movie did have, they had some really cool villains, man. I mean, they had some really cool villains with some really cool powers. Kariji to me was just a demon. Like, again, he could move just like Elektra could move. We find out later in the movie that he's the one that killed her mom. But he is, the hand. So the hand and the devil kind of go hand in hand, if you'll excuse the
Mm.
pun, unintended. But some of the villains in this movie, like Tattoo, has the ability, if it's drawn on his body, he can make it come to life and attack you. And I had forgotten about him. I thought that was so cool, Jordan. And then Typhoid, who is almost like Mistress Death in the fact that anything that she touches dies. These villains
Mhm.
were just super, super intimidating. Let's talk about these villains, man. Give me your thoughts on them. First time you saw them, like, just give me your thoughts on them as a whole, because their team, like when you look at them going up against Elektra, I'm thinking she doesn't stand a chance. So just give me your thoughts on them.
Um, I will say, uh, I'm going to talk about the whole cast itself. Outside of Jennifer Gardner, and you know what, I'm going to start off by praising Jennifer Gardner
Hmm.
because she is an amazing actress. I love
She
her in all her movies. And I think she is. I like her more in this movie than I did in Daredevil, mainly because I didn't really know her in Daredevil. In
right.
this, she's by herself, and I really like her, and she's the best part of this movie. And
Hmm.
I I am actually so glad that in Deadpool and Wolverine, they brought her back. Like, if there were three characters that they brought back, that being Gambit, Elektra, and Blade, they picked a great three
They
because
did.
I think they
They really
all
did.
needed to be redeemed because Wesley Snipes needed to be shown so that we could educate the younger audience in
On who he is.
you guys wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Wesley Snipes' Blade. And Jennifer Gardner needed to be here because these two movies with Daredevil and Elektra, I just don't think they were good. And I feel so bad for Jennifer Gardner because I think she did good. And
Did a
she
great
needed
job.
to have some redemption. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad she was in Deadpool and Wolverine. And in fact, when I saw her, I was so excited because I'm like, this is so awesome. I mean, I have Elektra and Daredevil on VHS in my basement, and I've watched the Daredevil movie more than the Elektra movie, mainly because I guess I'll get to that with my review for this movie and my rating for this movie. But I think the acting in this movie is the worst of any Marvel movie that we've ever seen.
Wow.
The way that dialogue
worse than the Eternals? Worse than the Eternals?
Worse than the Eternals. And because the way they say things, it is so just not human and like a robot talking, and I'm just like, what like, how am I supposed to believe you? Like, Jennifer Gardner will say something that is so great, and then followed up by like Terrence Stamp saying something like so just clearly read off the page. And same thing with the villains do this too. And it sucks because Kirsten Zine, who plays Abby Miller in this, I just finished a show called Kyle XY, which came out the same year that this movie came out. And I loved her. Like, I loved her when I was like 6-7 years old when Kyle XY came out, and I thought she was awesome. And I never watched this show like entirely until just like a couple months ago. And she was awesome in that show. And I mean, she's not a great actress. She's not a bad actress. She does what she needs to do. She kind of plays the same role, I think, in most of her things. Same thing with Terrence Stamp. Same thing with most of these actors I'm looking at right now. I'm like, wow, they all play the same person in every movie. Holy crap. Yeah, the
why.
acting in this,
Wow.
just awful. And the villains themselves, I think Tattoo was, the coolest of them all. Because I just think the idea of him is so cool. Actually, I think that was Kevin Feige's idea to have Tattoo in this movie. So Typhoid, all right. I'm going to be blunt about this. They had Jennifer Gardner and Natasha Malfay, who plays Typhoid, make out in this movie. They didn't need to do that. But it was the times, and they're trying to get to a certain audience, and I think it was just not I don't know whose idea that was, but don't ever do that again. It's just kind of gross. Why would you have it doesn't make sense. Like Typhoid, you could have her just touch her, like grab her hand. You don't you could literally have her like punch her in the chest, and you could have her you could still have Elektra react that way. They just had them make out because it's girl on girl, and that was something that for the time, this movie is not aging well at all. This movie could never release this year because it would get a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. I don't even know what the Rotten Tomatoes for this movie is, but it's probably a lot higher than I thought. it's just the decision making, the acting. Oh man, I feel so bad for Jennifer Gardner. I feel so bad for her because she's an awesome actress. She was awesome as Elektra. She's underrated as Elektra because nobody really talks about her as Elektra. On top of that, we end up getting a more comic accurate Elektra in the Daredevil series on Netflix. So I just feel so bad for her. She didn't deserve this. She did not.
Oh wow. Okay, I think they gave it an 11%.
Holy mother of God.
I think
11.
if I'm seeing this correct, if I'm seeing this correct, it's kind of hard to interpret this. Hang on. I think they gave it an I think they gave it an 11%. Yeah. Yeah, they gave it an 11%. I think. If I'm on the site, and so it says
Yeah,
tomato meter.
Critic score 11%. Audience
Yeah,
score 29. I kind
9%.
of
Yeah,
figured the audience would be higher. Yeah.
yeah.
Critic score 11.
They gave it an
Yeah.
11%.
And most of that with older movies pre Rotten Tomatoes release, any
Mhm,
movies, normally the critic score is going to be like inflated because of nostalgia.
mhm.
There's
Uh,
going to be and the people who review those older movies are people who are nostalgic. So if anyone's going to be positive, it's because of the nostalgia itself.
okay, that's fair. That's fair. Um, let's talk about plot summary. Elektra Nachos, Jennifer Gardner, resurrected after her death in Daredevil, becomes a contract killer trained by Stick. Tasked with assassinating a father and a daughter, she discovers they're innocent and targeted by the Hand, a mystical ninja cult. Elektra must protect them and face her past. And I guess what appealed to me about this movie is that when she meets the younger girl, she really sees herself.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole crux of this is we're going to have you to go back and redeem yourself by basically saving this version of yourself, right? Her
Mm-hmm.
mom died when she was young as well, just like this young lady. So she really sees a lot of herself in her. um the first time they meet, she meets her in her house. She asks her she asks her what she stole, and she says nothing, and then she figures it out. And she also sees her counting her steps, and she asks her, "Are you counting her steps?" So they have the OCD in common. And then she finds out the backstory, and she sees a lot of herself in this young lady. And that's not by accident, because again, this was all set up by Stick, because the first thing Stick says when he and Elektra see each other at Stick's lair, or whatever this billiards room or pool hall is, "Oh, why don't you tell him what you really do?" So that lets you know right there he doesn't approve of what she's doing, right? But she doesn't know that he was the one that contracted her to kill them as a way of kind of giving her a choice to make at this point, putting
Mm-hmm.
her at a crossroads, um, in doing that. But what I really like the fact that Elektra really saw a lot of herself in this young lady. And it's funny because most of the movie we think that Elektra is the treasure that the Hand is talking about, and they're not. They're talking about this young lady who also is a prodigy in martial arts. And I don't know what the weapon that she uses is called. I've seen it before.
A scythe, 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 scythe. One of those scythe.
I
What
don't
is
know.
it?
I know Elektra throws size, but I don't know what
Oh,
the young
oh,
lady's
what the
weapon
girl?
is.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah,
have no idea what she.
I
Yeah,
don't, I
I
don't
don't
know
know what
what
she
that is, but
uses.
the way she wields it is really cool. But
Yeah,
when
it
we
is.
find out that she's the treasure, I was like, okay, I get it. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that fact of it, and the fact that Elektra is put to the point to where she's got to make a choice, right? She's got to make a choice. Okay, well, what are you gonna do, right? And it's like she's looking at him, and at a certain point she says, "This isn't right." Right? And her first thought is, okay, well, let's just get them off the island, and I'm going to drop them off with Stick. Um, and when she finds out the scenario, then she's like, okay, we can't leave. But it's the whole reluctant hero theme, and I get that. I don't know. I thought it was I enjoyed that piece of it. Yeah, there were certain points in the acting that it wasn't great, but for me, what I really liked, I think they did a great job of the imagery, right? In some of the
Mhm.
scenes, when they go back to the old house and she fights Kariji, and the use of the curtain sheets or whatever, and the
Mhm.
creative way they did that, I really liked that. I liked a lot of the fight scenes. I enjoyed that. I liked the way that she went back to kill Tattoo, and she's like, "Nope, not falling for it." And she goes right up on him and kills him. And I thought that was great. And then the way that she got rid of Typhoid, I mean, I was just like, because I didn't like Typhoid. I just didn't.
Mhm.
She was just evil. She was just evil. You know what I mean? She was jealous. She was like, I used to be, the treasure, and we're gonna keep this death between us. And I didn't like her. So when she throws the size and Typhoid turns around and meets death, I love that. And then when the way they die and the mini explosion that happens, I thought that was cool. Now I think that is something that is consistent. Isn't that consistent in the Netflix series, or am I tripping? Don't they some of their soldiers die in that same
Yes.
way?
Yes.
So I really I did like that. I did like that. So that was kind of cool. Um let's talk about some character arc. I say that tongue in cheek.
Mhm.
Elektra from killer to protector.
Mhm.
Stick is a mentor testing the faith. I really don't feel like Stick has an arc here. I
No.
really don't. I don't feel like he does. I don't feel like any of the other characters really have an arc.
Mhm.
I feel like there is an arc with Elektra in that she goes from being guarded and being broken into really opening up to this younger girl, because this movie is about the relationship between Elektra and the young lady. This is about Elektra opening up. This is about redemption for Elektra, and this is a second chance for this little girl to go on with her life. And to
Mhm.
me, that's the central theme in this. But everybody else, the arc of every other character is really flat because there's just not enough definition. There's we don't spend enough time with the villains to really know about them. We don't spend that much time with Stick to really know about them. You could say maybe Mark Miller and Abby Miller, but I
Mhm.
don't know that even Mark Miller has an arc. I really don't see
Yeah.
Abby with an arc. So those are my thoughts. Give me your thoughts on the character arcs. Did I miss anything, or you know?
Well, like you said, Elektra is very obvious with her character arc. I mean, she's very guarded. Which honestly, after the events of Daredevil, you can understand why she's
Hey, you
very
can't blame
guarded.
her. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't blame her for that.
I mean, you get it. So her character arc is really obvious, but she opens up by the end. Um, I agree with you. I would say Abby probably has the next best character arc, which isn't a great one, but it's one of those things. It's like she's a kid, so she's fooling around. She starts by being a childish kid, but by the end of the movie, she's more of like she grows into like she understands more. She understands that like why she does certain things. She understands like she needs to grow up a little bit more. So, if anyone has any sort of other character arc, it's definitely Abby. Otherwise, everybody else's character arcs are there's not really an arc. There's a beginning, and then that's it. There's no other. There's no actual arc. There that rainbow. There's no pot of gold at the end. There's nothing at the end of that rainbow.
There's nothing there. There's just nothing
No.
there. let's talk about some of the themes. So, death and rebirth, definitely redemption through compassion, discipline versus emotion, feminine strength, legacy of trauma. All those seem to be accurate because, again, she keeps reliving the death scene of her mom, and it's definitely wounded her. And it's something that we didn't see in Daredevil, and obviously, why would we? There was a lot going on in that, but it kind of makes you felt. It kind of makes you feel that it would have been better if Daredevil was a better movie because maybe it would have been longer, maybe it would have been more of a character arc for her,
Mm.
and maybe then this would be a better movie because we come into it knowing more about her. Um, but again, not so much. But death and rebirth is definitely a theme. It's all up and through this movie. I think forgiveness is a theme of this movie, and you can't receive love if you're closed off, right? If I wanted to
Mm.
give you $1 million, the only way you're going to get it is you open your hand. Not that you could fit $1 million in your hand, but you get what I'm saying.
Mm.
And so she's closed off, right? And so a large theme of this movie is just her opening up to the world again, opening up to this possibility. Because what I will say is, I would imagine if you are an assassin, I don't know, I'm not an assassin, I don't kill people for a living, but if you were, you're probably dehumanized and desensitized to death, right? Death becomes like coffee to you. Oh, whatever. I dropped him from 500 feet away. Bam, he's dead. It's nothing. And so a part of this journey is her coming back to her human side, uh, being compassionate again, um, opening up areas that have been closed off before her, at least are my thoughts. Um, Give me your thoughts on it. Anything we missed here as far as the themes are concerned?
I mean, I think I think that I don't think you missed anything. Uh, I mean, well, Jennifer Gardner in anything she oozes, anything she any movie she does just oozes the feminine strength. Like this, she just knows how to do a character in a way that's not like Captain Marvel,
Hmm.
right? Because like Captain Marvel feels just so forced, and I think maybe part of that is Brie Larson. And I like Brie Larson. I love Brie Larson in anything outside of Marvel. Like I will watch something if I see and Fast and the Furious because she shows up in Fast X. I think that doesn't count because Fast X at this point is just a spin-off of Marvel with all the crazy randomness crap that's happening in that franchise. We went all right, small tangent. We went from driving and racing cars to we're going to outer space.
Space, which is
Why?
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's
Why?
ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Anyways,
It's
that's a side
yeah,
that's a side issue.
yeah.
And we'll get Fast X Part 2 in 2072 when I'm in a nursing home. Um,
Wow.
so with like I love Brie Larson. I think part of that's the writing. I think part of that's maybe just I don't think the role is fit for her, and that's where this just there's no feminine strength, and it's just and or it feels forced if there is. And with Jennifer Gardner, like she's literally a strong, independent woman in this movie, and she's trying to teach. Maybe that's another theme. She's trying to teach this girl Abby to be a strong, independent woman, and what a strong, independent woman will look like. Because it's very clear that her dad just can't teach that to her. So, um, maybe that's another theme. Is just her teaching being a strong, independent woman. And that again, that's just Jennifer Garner being an awesome actress. I love her.
I think she has that, right? Because and I'm going to be careful in the way I say this, but
Mhm.
even though she is a strong, independent woman, she still comes across as feminine, right?
Mhm.
So it's not like you're strong, independent, but you come across as robotic and almost man-like. She's very much effeminate, right?
That I think that's the
That's
assassin in her. The assassin in her is to be robotic. Like, all right, oh well, all right. Here's a stupid scene. At the beginning of the movie, when she's trying to clean the floor because she doesn't want to get the DNA everywhere. All right, I'm gonna give you a lesson with science, right? Anyone who's taken any sort of biology class at any level will know that she's going to be there the rest of her life trying to scrub away all the DNA that because you have skin cells that are falling, you might have a hair that falls, like that. It was just stupid, that whole, like, why is she doing, she's like, I'm cleaning off all the DNA. I'm like, it's not like you murdered someone there. You didn't murder anyone there. You're just literally cleaning just to make sure your DNA is not there. You might as well scrub everywhere you've ever been in your entire life.
right.
Like that.
Yeah.
It's just so, it's so that scene is just so silly, and
Yeah.
it makes no sense. Yeah, I don't know how I went to that scene. But like, but she's robotic. That's what I was getting at. She's robotic in that scene. She's robotic everywhere else because she wants to show no compassion. And
Right.
that redemption through compassion is how it ends up ending in the movie, is she's redeeming through compassion. She's finally finding her compassion, because as an assassin, you have to be robotic. You have to make sure you have no emotions when you kill someone.
Agreed. But what I'm saying is she does a perfect job of balancing it, right?
Yes.
So let me give you what I'm saying. And again, I'm not trying to be misogynistic. I'm going to use this strictly for the purposes of illustrating this point. But that
Tread
walk of
lightly.
hers, that walk of hers is the thing, man. Okay, she is devoutly feminine, right?
Mhm.
But on the other side of that, she will slit your throat. So that's what I mean when I say she's balanced. Whereas Captain
Yeah.
Marvel is just, but it's the way she's written. Now, again, Jennifer Gardner is not Brie Larson, right? But it is believable that she can be an assassin. I believe that. But I also believe that at the end of the night, when she comes home, she might want to take a look at her nails, because there's that balance of femininity in how she carries it. Does that make sense?
A little. I don't. That's the thing with, I think, this performance of Elektra is, I don't think she cares because she died. I don't think she cares at all about that anymore. And I think the walk is just something Jennifer Gardner 100% does herself. I'd be curious to see the behind the scenes of that, and whose idea was it to have her walk like that.
That was encouraged, bro. There's, because she does it too much in that movie. That is a part of that character, in that, yes, I can kill every man in here, right? And maybe it's the times, right? But I'm still gonna let you know. You get what I'm saying? Like, I get that
Yes.
from her character. I get that from her character. I get that balance of, anyway, whatever. It is
Also,
what it is.
one other thing about Jennifer Gardner, I'm gonna promote her a lot with this. She worked her butt off for this movie
She
and
did. She
Daredevil.
trained 4 hours a day.
Yes, and she did the same thing with Deadpool and Wolverine. I applaud her. I think actors, actresses, I think you all should look at Jennifer Gardner as a prime example of how to work into a superhero role. She should be. Again, I'm so glad she's in Deadpool and Wolverine, because she should be idolized. She is the first lady of Marvel. Like, I mean, she's the first female superhero to headline her own movie.
Mhm.
Like, bravo to Jennifer Gardner. Absolutely phenomenal, and the best part of this crappy movie.
Well, you said it. I didn't. Speaking of crappy movie, um, let's look at what worked and what didn't. What worked? Jennifer Gardner's emotional performance, the visual style and choreography, which I agree. I think I love the visual style of this movie. I love the maze. I love the fact that they go to her childhood home to have the throwdown. I love the final throwdown. I love the throwdown with Carigi there. I love the throwdown with Carigi at the waterfall, at the well. I'm
Mhm.
sorry. Um, I just love the way the fight scenes are done, but it did have a very weak script. The villains were shallow because we didn't know anything about them, and I would agree there was uneven tone and pacing. And to your point, their performances were robotic. I will give you that.
Mhm.
Is there anything else that we forgot about this, negative or positive, that's not
Mhm.
reflected here?
All right. What worked? Like you said, Jennifer Gardner, and like I mean, I could literally, I don't think I could praise Jennifer Gardner enough for how well she's done. And if I ever for some reason meet Jennifer Gardner in real life, I will thank her for her true appreciation to getting that character right.
Hmm.
And like I love when people try to be that character and really get into it instead of just walking on set one day and then just doing your thing and then going home. Like she actually worked her butt off to be in this role. So
Hmm.
I if I ever met her, don't think I'll ever do that. But if I do, I would thank her for that.
Okay.
Um, but when it comes to the rest of the movie, I think the costume designs are pretty solid.
Hmm.
Um, just overall, I don't think the hand was very well done. I hate the final fight scene. I think it's very anticlimactic. Um, Also, one thing that made we literally had a whole slide on this in Daredevil, and we're not even going to discuss that over here. Daredevil had arguably the greatest soundtrack for a comic book movie
Agreed.
ever.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
in this movie, we're not gonna. I don't even remember. I can't even remember like notes at all to even think about.
For good reason.
Um,
For good
yeah.
reason. Yeah, for good reason.
So I just I don't have very many positive things to say. I have a negative. I have a negative when it comes to Daredevil. I think negatively about that movie. And I just think it takes all the bad things about Daredevil and doubles down on
And
it. And I think
amplifies
it
them.
and
Yeah.
I don't even and I think all the good things about Daredevil got pushed away for this movie.
Mm. Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's fair.
It's also not a very memorable movie. Like if when we get done all of these movies, this will be one of the most forgettable movies that we end up doing.
hmm No, I would agree that this wasn't a great movie. This was not a great movie. But like you say, it's funny you said this last week, and I was like, but I thought about it this week. Just because it's a bad movie doesn't mean it's boring. I didn't find this movie boring, right? I now and
Mhm.
again, a lot of it is timing, right? Because I still,
Mhm.
and it's been 4 or 5 years, I still cannot get through the Eternals. I can't get through it without falling asleep. I couldn't get
We'll
through
do
it
it. We will do it. I am positive. I am positive you're going to think better about that movie. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's great, but I think you're going to think it's better than it was.
I probably will. You know what? I'm gonna agree with you in this instance because I didn't think I would like Daredevil, and I liked it a little more. And this one, it really, again, I connected with the themes in it, right? So I guess
Mhm.
sometimes if a movie is relatable, maybe you receive it a little more. You get what I'm saying? But I really
Yes.
connected with the fact that she saw herself in this girl. Like I picked that up right away. I picked that up right
Mhm.
away why she didn't want to kill them. I also picked
Yeah.
up right away that she doesn't have any peace. Like at the beginning of the movie, she's on this basically she's in this peaceful place, this beautiful domicile, and she has no peace. She's reckless. Why? Because she's got so much stuff that she's dealing with. She doesn't have any peace anywhere she goes. Like, if you can't go to a remote location where there's no hustle and bustle, there's nobody bothering you, you got everything. If you can't enjoy yourself there, the issue is you. You don't have peace in your soul. You don't have peace in your life. And that's what she's dealing with, right? And when she meets this young girl and locks in on her, right away I see, oh my God, this is Elektra 20 years earlier, right? And so for me, I could appreciate it. Doesn't mean it's a good movie. It just means that at that time, in that moment, I connected with that, and it made the experience better for me. Movie still wasn't great. I'll give you that. My rating isn't going to be great for it. I'm sure it's not going to be what yours is going to be, because I already know what yours is going to be. But it's not going to be that bad. Anyway, let's talk about some unknown facts. So Garner performed her own stunts, to your point.
Heck
she trained in
awesome. Love her.
Yeah. She and Tom Cruise. Because I don't know a whole lot of people that I know. Tom Cruise does his own stunts to this day. Tom Cruise is 60 years old. Hey man, respect. Okay. I don't even want to go down the stairs sometimes. In fact, you out there performing your own stunts, man. Respect Mr. Cruise. Respect Ms. Gardner or Mrs. Gardner or whatever the term is. But trained in Psy Combat and Krav Maga, redesigned costume for practicality. It was filmed in Vancouver, directed by Rob Bowman of the X-Files. Director's cuts adds emotional depth based on Frank Miller's comics. And Frank Miller, I didn't realize he wrote Daredevil. I know he wrote Batman, but I didn't realize that he wrote Daredevil as well. So Ben Affleck did have a cameo that was cut. And I was wondering about that because I was like, why don't we see Ben? One of Marvel's weaker early films, and it is. Garner called it a contractual obligation.
It was. She signed on for a 2-movie project when she signed on for Daredevil. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's get into the juxtaposition of Elektra versus the comics versus the Netflix version of it. So to me, this Elektra is a kinder, gentler Elektra than we get in the comics or in the Netflix version. Because to me, Elektra at heart is very cavalier about death. Like, she'd kill somebody and not break a sweat. She'd kill somebody in the middle of eating some cornflakes and go right back to it. No deal. Like, she is an assassin first, foremost, and everything. And to me, and this is why I really liked her performance so much, we see that in her, okay? But we also see a lighter side. We see that in her. We see that she will kill. Jennifer Garner carries that well. That was one of the things I really loved about the show Alias until the last season, which they just lost it. But I really loved that show, the first 3, 4, every season but the last one, because the last one just got out of hand. But I loved her performances, and I think a lot of the work to prepare for this role was probably done there because the characters are sort of similar. But she is one of the few female characters that just carries badass well. You know what I mean? Like, she just carries it well. She's a badass, but she could also be a soccer bomb. You know what I mean? She could walk into a room, kill that. Matter of fact, she says, I'm a soccer bomb while she's driving them to where they go. She's like, I'm a soccer bomb. But she carries it well. And I think we see that in the characters in the MCU and in Marvel Comics. Elektra to me doesn't have a light. She's an assassin, point blank, period. She's a killer. That's who she is and what she does. She is the other side of Matt, right?
Yes.
She is the other side. She is the dark side to Matt, and he is the light side to her. Those are my thoughts. Give me your thoughts on this juxtaposition.
So I actually don't know too much about the comics version of Elektra. I mean, I have an action figure that's comic. I used to. I don't have it now. I actually don't have any action figures anymore. Um, but I used to have an Elektra action figure that was entirely comic book accurate. Um, and that was really it when it came to the comics. But like Elektra Elektra and Jennifer Gardner's Elektra was my introduction to the character. Um, and um,
I'm
and
just saying you said action figures. Like you never let go of those. And these are action figures. I like that. These are not dolls, people who watch this. These are action figures.
I
They're different.
used to call them. I never called them action figures because whenever I thought about action figures, I thought of GI Joe, which I had GI Joes. But I always called them bad guys. Even the good guys were always bad guys. They were my bad guys. That was what I called everybody my bad guys because I thought that was cooler. Also, why would I call them good guys? Because that sounds I don't know, weird.
Get
I don't
over here. Get over here. He's wearing hockey pants.
um but the but Jennifer Gardner, yeah, her version of Elektra is my introduction to the character, but then I realized that the Netflix iteration is the more accurate version of Elektra.
Mhm.
I don't care for that version of Elektra, but I guess it complements Daredevil very well. Like I don't think this is a very good solo character. I think it's a very good solo character in a movie like Elektra and Daredevil. But I
Mhm.
don't think this is a good character when it comes to the comics or the Netflix series because it's like this character was designed to be, like you said, like Matt's other half. And I don't like characters that are like that. I don't like characters in any sense that are like supposed to represent like the evil side or the good side of another character. I don't because that doesn't make that character independently good. So I so I guess that's why I do like Jennifer Gardner's version of Elektra more than I do the Netflix series. And that's not saying the one from the Netflix series is bad. I like her. I actually like her more than most people do because everybody I get to watch the Netflix series, they all say the same thing. They don't like Elektra. So,
Mhm.
I guess that's you're supposed to not like her because it's supposed to be Matt's evil half.
Right. No, I mean, I look. I agree. I like Jennifer Gardner's character so much better.
Yeah.
Um, and even though this movie wasn't great, I think it is a testament to how great of an actress that she is. But
Mhm.
we are here at this point.
Mhm.
Obviously, it's time for the rating.
Mhm.
So I'll go through yours and mine again. Jordan gave Spider-Man a 9.5 out of 10. Fantastic Four 9.5 out of 10. Captain America 8 out of 10. X-Men 8 out of 10. Blade 7.5 out of 10. X2 7.5 out of 10. X-Men Apocalypse 7 out of 10. X-Men 7 out of 10. X-Men Dark Phoenix 6 out of 10. X-Men Origins 4 out of 10. Blade 2 3 out of 10. Daredevil 2.5 out of 10. Captain Marvel 2.5 out of 10. And Spider-Man 2 9.5 out of 10. I gave Spider-Man a 10 out of 10. Captain America 8 out of 10. X-Men First Class 8 out of 10. X-Men Dark Phoenix 8 out of 10. We've done a lot of movies, sir.
Mhm.
Fantastic Four 8 out of 10. Blade 8 out of 10. X2 7.5 out of 10. X-Men 7.5 out of 10. X-Men Apocalypse 7 out of 10. Daredevil 6.5 out of 10. Captain America 5.5 out of 10. X-Men Origins 5 out of 10. Blade 5 out of 10. Woo! That's a mouthful. All right. We are here now. I am going to give this movie a 5.5 out of 10. Even though I did love Jennifer Gardner's performance, it's just not enough to save this movie. The script is bad. The performances by everything, most actors, not all, but most of the actors around her were just not that great. The script was not that great. So I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. I shudder to think what you're going to give this one, but I am anxiously awaiting. So without further ado, Maestro, regale us with your decision or your rating on this movie. What gives? What are you giving it?
So, a quick question: do you put it above or below Captain Marvel? Also a 5.5 for you.
I'm gonna put it below.
Below. Okay.
I'm gonna put it below Captain. Yeah, I'm gonna put it below.
All right. Huh. Whew. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Like with movies, generally speaking, if it's boring, I'm more than likely not gonna go back to this. I think of all the Marvel movies I've watched, I may have watched this movie the least. And you know what? Scratch that because I have this movie on VHS and I know I've watched it a few times on VHS. Because I would do my duo. I would watch Daredevil first and then Elektra second. But I, outside of Jennifer Gardner, and honestly, if you replace Jennifer Gardner with like anyone else, I mean, I don't know what the redeeming part of this movie would be.
Mm.
I don't think the fight scenes are all that good. I think the villains aren't memorable. I don't like a lot of the side characters. A lot of the side characters are really like hateable, like stick. And not in a good way like in the Netflix series. So in all the good stuff of Daredevil, it's taken away. There's no soundtrack that's memorable in this. There's, I mean, there's not much to even CGI in this. It felt like just like people on clear wires, like it was The Matrix. But this movie came out in 2005. So with that being said, I am giving this a 1.5 out of 10.
Wow. Wow,
It
that is the
is,
lowest rating that you've done thus far.
and not only is it the lowest rating I've done so far, this is my lowest rated Marvel movie ever.
I believe it. That's wow.
Um,
That's
yeah.
wow.
I have one other project that has the same score as this, so it's not the lowest Marvel project, but which when we get to that, I'm gonna probably jump off my roof. But because this movie is just extremely boring for me and not
Mm.
rewatchable. With the show that we get to eventually, I hate everything about that show. Oh my, that show frustrates me because it could have been a 10 out of 10 and they made it awful. That frustrates me. But yeah, I'm giving it a 1.5 out of 10. The redeeming qualities, why it's not a 0.5 out of 10. Again, I never give anything 0 out of 10. Why it's not a 0.5 out of 10. I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever seen. And all the worst things I've ever seen, I give 0.5 out of 10. And Jennifer Gardner is fantastic. And also, I think this movie, if this movie was just longer, I could see me giving it a 1 out of 10. Actually, I did give it a 1 out of 10 initially up until I rewatched it a couple months ago. So it did go up half a point. So, yeah, with that being said, 1.5 out of 10. Yeah, there's literally one other thing I wouldn't watch before Elektra.
Oh wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my friend, hey, as as usual, even though the movie was not great, I sure had a fun time previewing
Mm-hmm.
it with you, buddy. I just want you to know. So, what do we have for next week, or is there even going to be a podcast next week, or what are we
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, we're gonna do one next week. We are gonna finish up the trilogy, and we are gonna watch Spider-Man 3.
Oh goody! Oh
Oh,
wow!
goody! I
You
can't
know
wait
what?
to actually do this one.
You know what? It might be better.
Yeah.
Because again, if Electra was better, I may even watch it tonight, specifically
Mhm.
because of the whole raindrops montage.
Mm-hmm.
I might watch it tonight and just see what it's about. But I understand that, hey man, we got to get out of here. I know that you've got some obligations. So please tell these folks where they can find you.
You can find me at Ultegacy, Ultegacy. We post everything about sports. We're going to be posting college tonight, World Series tonight. We got NFL tomorrow. NBA season's in full swing. NHL season's in full swing. This is the perfect time to be following Ultegacy right now. I know I haven't posted a couple videos lately because I was trying to fix my circle light, which is now finally working. But yeah, you can follow me there if you want to follow anything with movies. All my lists, like, I mean, you can see what my scores are ahead of time. They might change when I end up going back and rewatching them, but you can go and see all my lists on Letterboxd. And yeah, and you can follow me on Instagram too. I'm gonna be talking about like movies and other random stuff. So yeah.
Good deal. Well, hey man, I enjoy doing this with you every week. You know how I feel about it. This was fun, even though this last movie wasn't great, but it was still fun. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. So hey, to everybody who did join us or will join us, we just appreciate you. We appreciate you giving us the opportunity to talk about movies, which we love, whether it's MCU, whatever movies you want to talk about. We love talking about movies. We love movies here, and we appreciate you guys tuning in, whether it's now or later. We appreciate it either way. I thank God for sending anyone who watches this in my path. Obviously, I thank God all the time for sending this guy right here in my path. I've really grown to like this young man, even though he's a Saints fan. But we won't hold that against him. No, nobody's perfect. And not really, nobody's perfect. We won't hold that against him.
I'm pretty close.
Yeah. Anyway, hey man, if you want to check us out, you can check us out for movies at 4myatlmovies 1. Please like, share, and subscribe, as we will probably preview this and Spider-Man 2 later on tonight, so you can watch it all over again. If you're into sports, you can follow us at 4myatlsports Sports 1 on YouTube, where we talk about Falcons, Hawks, Braves, anything Atlanta sports we talk about there. Sometimes we talk about larger issues as well. Jordan, we didn't even get to talk about gambling this week, but we'll get to that at some point. I'm sure we will. But hey, again, thank God for all you guys tuning in. Appreciate you guys. To Mr. Eric Parker and Jack Spade, who gave me my opportunity. Thank you. Thank you to God for waking me up this morning. And again, send me this brother to podcast with, because it's a great time. We will see you guys next week when we do Spider-Man 3. And yeah, man, you guys have an amazing day, a great weekend. Stay safe, everybody.
This movie was about
Lights, camera, action is going down. For my ATL movies, when we run this town with your host T-Wil, yeah, keeping it real. From the A to the screen, you can feel the thrill. Rolling with the classics, we're setting the pace. Highlighting the magic of our soulful space. Got the vibe, got the crew, making it tight. When the screen lights up, everything feels right. Grab your popcorn, let's make it loud. T-Wil, T-Wil, it's movie time, ATL style. Stand proud. From the silver screen to the hearts we steal. T-Wil, T-Wil, every frame we capture is a real deal. Yeah. Talking premieres where the stars align. ATL views, yeah, they really shine. Behind the lens.